but also, this is a very small channel. I only have like 200 something subscribers. I know I really hype it up over over messaging to try to get people to be on here and be like, oh, it's the world's greatest podcast. You're really missing out if you don't be on all that. But I mean, otherwise, if I didn't do that, I'd have 2 subscribers. So I have that many because of that. But
That's half of what I have. Like,
really, you have like 500?
no, that's like look at that. You have like more, like half more.
Oh, so I have double then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't really say that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Double is 4 times half. But anyway, so yeah, it's a small channel, and all.
Can you talk about your hair?
Okay, what about it? I just took a shower today, if that's what you're asking.
No, it's just like a really 80s vibe.
Like a really what?
An 80s vibe.
An 80s vibe? I'm actually trying to go for like a rock star look if I can. I want to get it to flipping length. Because I'm a rock fan. My favorite genre of music's rock. I listen to a lot of variations of metal and such, so I tend to thrash around, do some headbanging, bust out the electric guitar, and just crank it up all the way. So start a solo mosh pit or whatever. So it really fits the aesthetic a lot better. To have like long, greasy, whatever hair. I like it greasy. I don't like it sweaty though. That's where I draw the line. I just don't like being sweaty. I live in Florida though, so it's not really a choice, especially this time of year. But what?
I don't like it either. Like, but you're like, for some reason, you like Lionel Richie to me. Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. Isn't he black?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, alright. I mean, also, the shirt might also be contributing to that, aesthetic. It's like, I got a really trippy, thing going on there, but...
Yeah.
Fun fact, I own, I think, 7 different cat shirts, so...
When did you buy them?
And I don't own any cats. I didn't buy any of them. They were all given to me as gifts.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Are like people who
not even by the same person either. I don't think so. I maybe the first one was, and then like somebody saw me wearing that shirt and like, oh, so you like cat shirts, huh? And then like it just became a thing from then on, and then it was like, oh, you have 2 cat shirts now. Okay, I guess you like those. And then I had 3, and then it was like, oh, you have 3 cat shirts. You must like the, whatever. So
it's a cycle.
Yeah, and now I have either 6 or 7. So
thank God I was too poor to buy those.
They're only like $5, I think, if they're on clearance or something. But
not when your parents are cheap. So like. I wouldn't. $5 is too much.
Yeah, you could get like a whole pizza for that much. Then again, a shirt will last you a lot longer than a pizza would, so I still think it's a better investment. But that's another thing too. Is like with $100, you could either go out to a really fancy dinner for treat your whole family out to dinner for like for an hour or 2, and have a great time. Or you could buy, like, a video game console, or, like, 2 great games, or, like, you can buy, like, for $100, let's see, you could probably get some kind of appliance, maybe, I don't know, a blender, a popcorn maker, a can opener, a coffee maker, multiple of those, I don't know, but for $100, you can get something that's going to last you a long time. You can probably get like a terabyte SD card or storage space or whatever, so you never have to run out of storage on your device again or something. Or for $100, you might even be able to get like a phone or something. Not like a phone as we know it today, a smartphone, but you can get at least a flip phone or something, some kind of communication tool. But the point is, you can get something that's going to last you a while, like at least a few years. And in my opinion, that's a much better investment than having fun for a few hours or something, you know?
Well, remember, food is not God, it's rented. So,
Well, yeah, but yeah, and another thing too is like, oh, well, it's about the memory that you have from it, and that's true. The memory is permanent, but you got to find the balance. I'm not saying never go out to fancy dinners, because I mean, I'm no stranger to that either. But you know, I'm not even a stranger to treating people out to fancy dinners, even if it's the last of my money at the time. But you know, the point is, you know, you got to strike a balance, you know. And most of the important things that I have, the important physical items that I have, are things that were given to me. They're not even things that I bought. So that I guess that really is something to be said about that, I suppose. Anyway, you're awfully quiet. What's on your mind? You just zoning out, just spacing out, just contemplating life through the point of view of a French fry or something.
I keep taking what I call a nap time, where I'm trying to both like have a shut eye and listen to you.
So it's like an open-eyed nap, basically.
Yeah.
I know someone who used to, well, probably still does. I know someone who falls asleep with their eyes open, and so they can be driving late at night, like driving home from somewhere at like 3 a.m., and, you know, their eyes are wide open, but they'll just like start like drifting off to the side of the road, and then it just like you'll go into the grass a little bit, and then I'll just like, hey, what's going on? And it's like, their eyes won't open because they're already open, so they'll be like, well, what's going on? Why couldn't you see me? I'm like, oh, I must have dozed off. Oh, well, your eyes are wide open. I can't, oh, yeah, I sleep with my eyes open sometimes. It's like, wow, well, that's scary, you know? How does that even work?
I mean, I zone out for like a long time. And it's just like, I'm not even thinking. And then someone snaps their fingers, and I'm like, oh. But I don't think I would call it.
You know, on the topic, drowsy driving, in my opinion, is much more dangerous than like drunk driving or high driving usually, or like, you know, distracted. Well, maybe distracted is probably could be worse depending on the situation. But the point, like the legal things, ironically, are the most dangerous. You know, it's like, for some reason, eating while driving isn't illegal. I don't know why. Like, that's definitely a distraction. Like, have you ever tried to like eat a sandwich while you're on the interstate or something? Like, that's not it. You know.
No, people are a distraction during driving.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like, even if you're talking to your buddy in the passenger seat, you know, that's distracted driving right there. If you're listening to music or something, or, you know, whatever, it's like, where do you draw the line? You know?
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. I'll be driving, and then I'll be talking to my mom, and then I notice something, you know, she notices something that I don't, and then she starts to freak out.
Oh, watch out, you're gonna hit that car in front of you.
Yeah, exactly like that. Or I might miss a stop sign. But yeah.
You just reminded me, one of my pet peeves, I hope this doesn't offend you or anything, but one of my pet peeves actually is people who just like drive frantically for no reason, just all the time, and that's just like how they are. Like, I can understand if you do that once in a while. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can at least understand if it's like an emergency or if it's a very special situation, you know, that you really need to, you know, whatever. I mean, obviously the best case scenario is to just not be running late or something, you know, to plan ahead. But, you know, just people who just like drive carelessly on a regular basis, you know, like that's just their style, you know, not even just speeding, because that's one thing, but just like weaving in and out of traffic, changing lanes without using blinkers, running stop signs, making right turns from the left lane, and just, having no respect, just being oblivious to the other cars, basically, and just treating the whole thing like a game, like they're in a driving scene of GTA or something. It's like, there are people who are. There's a lot of people like that. I don't want to throw anyone in particular under the bus, but there's a certain person in my family that I live with that's like that, who just recently, got a major ticket and now has to make a court appearance. So it's like, haste makes waste. And it's like, eventually you can't keep that up forever, and it's like it stresses you out so much too, because it's like you're always on the lookout for like cops or something. It's like, all right, yeah, up here is a place they might be hiding. Look for brake lights in the cars in my lane in front of us. Like, okay, so sometimes this median up here they get it's like, I don't know. It's just an extra layer of things to worry about. Driving already demands so much attention and stuff like that, but it's just adding so much extra stress on that too. It's like, and then also it's more expensive to drive frantically too, because it uses up gas quicker, and costs money, so you get less miles to the gallon, and so typically it's money you don't have, and then it's harder on the car too and everything. So it's just a lose really, and most of the time it's not even that much faster. It's like maybe 10 to 20% faster, so it's not, I don't know. That's just one of my pet peeves, is just like I'll be driving a comfortable 3 miles per hour over the speed limit, and someone will whiz by me just like just angrily, like, and especially if it's a one lane road with the double yellow, the speed limit's like 55 or something, I'll be going 58, and then some car will come, not even bother to honk the horn or anything, or put the flash the lights or anything, just proceed to just cut right in front of me, over the double yellow line on the other side. There'll be like a tractor trailer or something coming the other way, and like there's about to be a head-on collision, and then they slam on the brakes right in front of me or something, and it's just like, yeah, all right, whatever. But I don't know. People like that just annoy me sometimes. Oh, what about you?
Yeah, I understand that. When I drive, I have people cutting in front of me, and like, I'm a very passive-aggressive person when I drive. So like my response is, "Oh my goodness, why would you do that?"
Yeah. I myself used to be guilty of the good old, ooh, you got real far, didn't you, trick, where like, if you're on one of those roads where there's the occasional traffic light, like for the most part it's a high speed road, but then every once in a while there'll be like a slam on the brakes because there's a traffic light like every mile or two or something, and the speed limit's like 60. Yeah. There's one of those in particular in my city that I you basically have to drive it to get anywhere, and so since I've driven it so many times, I'm familiar with the cycle of the traffic lights, and how long they're green for, how long they're red for, the cycle, when the left turn arrow is green, how long it's going to be till the straightaway is green, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm able to to tell the timing. So I plan it accordingly when I come around the curve, and I'd see, I'm looking at the light, a half mile up ahead the road, and I can see like, all right, so, it seems like I'll just engage the situation like, okay, so there's 3 cars in the left turn lane, so that probably was green about, a minute ago, and so you had, I'll be doing these calculations, and I'll be like, okay, so the lights we probably got another 2 minutes on the light, so I'll back off on the speed, I'll start like coasting a little bit, I'll go a little bit under the speed limit, and so then, this car that was following me behind will just like dash out and go to the left, he's cut in front of me, and just really rev it up, going 70 miles per hour, and then all of a sudden they'll just slam on the brakes and go from 70 to 0 in like 5 seconds, and just get obnoxiously close to the car in front of them, and just stay there, and then I'll just come, slowly but surely cruising on along, going a little under the speed limit, and I'll catch up to them, and the light will still be red, and then I'll stop, a respectable distance behind them, and then I'll just be like, oh, was that really worth it? Like did you have to do that? You have to get in front of me and all that? We end up in the same place at the same time, Like, I know what I'm talking about. You would have been fine behind me because we're in the same cycle of the traffic light. You know, you're just stressing yourself out more and making the road a more dangerous place for no reason. You know, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff just annoys me. That's all.
It's funny because like my mom's the type to like she's the same thing as me. Like she doesn't say anything. She doesn't have regulation when she drives. But she just says like, well, why do you drive fast if you're all gonna end up at the same place? And then I'm the one that gets regulation. When I'm on the passenger seat, I ask a Mexican bad word bomb. And then she's the one that's like the roads river sometimes.
Well, I mean, you know, and another thing too is it's like long distance I can understand a little bit more. Like if you're trying to save 10% of time off your trip, the difference between 9 hours and 10 hours for a drive is kind of noticeable. You get an extra hour in at your destination or whatever. Okay, I can understand that a little bit. But when you're talking like a 10-minute drive, shaving 10% off that is a minute. That's a minute difference. So it's really not worth it. And the shorter drives typically tend to be more dangerous because if it's city driving, or in my case suburb driving, which is basically the same thing, just minus the actual like stuff to do or the fun parts of the city. It's just like all the boring. It's like all the cons of the city without any of the pros. That's basically what a suburb is. But you know, so like it's city driving essentially, and so it's like block after block lights and stuff. So 10 minutes of that is much more dangerous than 10 minutes on the highway because there's like a lot more cars and pedestrians and animals and, you know, just like it's a lot more chaotic. So you really can't afford to be driving frantically for all of that, you know. And then, of course, when there finally is an accident, it slows everything down for everyone. And then, you know, everyone suffers. Obviously the idiot who caused it suffers too because they're not going anywhere. Their car's probably totaled. You know, they probably have to pay a hefty amount of money and spend a lot of time, and they're late now for sure. You know, and then everyone behind them, and they block the whole road, and you could be sitting there for a half hour, and it makes everyone else late too. And so it's like, you know, this whole thing could have just been prevented if you weren't so selfish and so like, you know, absorbed, like, I gotta save that minute, you know, I gotta save that 1 minute. It's not even like, especially if it's not even for like an appointment or something important, you're just going over to like a friend's house or something, you know, to watch a movie or whatever. It's like, yeah, I mean, come on, you know?
Yeah, I do.
But, anyway, what's your favorite breakfast food?
My favorite breakfast food, eggs with chorizo.
Oh, okay. I just recently found out what that is,
Yeah.
so I feel useful now, but, I feel smart now. So
Yeah.
that's the sausage, right?
No, that's like, it's wrapped. It looks like sausage, but the moment you cut it out, it's like really squishy and grind it together.
Yeah.
It's really gross. It's really greasy as well, so it's not fun.
So you're on team greasy food with me?
No.
Oh.
Like, I need napkin. I need that napkin. Like, that's gross.
I like the McDonald's hash browns and the Arby's potato pancakes.
I'll eat something greasy if it's not that much.
I like funnel cake.
It's dripping.
I like funnel cake. I've eaten deep fried bubble gum. I've eaten fried Oreos. No deep fried candy bars yet though. I gotta try those. Oh, this one place I was at, the State Fair, had deep fried butter, and we came so close to buying it, but it was cash only, and we didn't have $6 cash. But next year, if I go back there, I'm getting that fried butter. So I gotta try it once, you know.
Yeah.
What about spicy things? Do you handle spice all right, or do you not? Like, where do you stand on the?
Oh, yeah. My mom likes to buy these small little green jalapeno peppers, and I eat them with meals sometimes.
I hate to burst your bubble, but jalapenos are not one of the spicier peppers, but, you know.
It gives me that little tingle, that's why I like it. I wouldn't know where to buy like a ghost pepper or anything like that.
One thing you should try, like a spicy sauce on, like, you know, people put spicy sauce on like chicken wings or something. One thing you should try it on is like pizza or an omelet or something that's dairy. Well, I guess an omelet isn't dairy, but like something with cheese or something, because dairy kind of counteracts the spice a little bit, so it kind of neutralizes the flavor, like really, you know, makes it milder, so it brings out the flavor in it more. And you can't really appreciate the flavor of hot sauce when your mouth's on fire, you know. So it's like it just really, you experience a whole other world, you know, and it's great. It's like that one scene in Ratatouille, you know, like it's just like I now anymore, whenever we bring pizza home, I always put hot sauce on it. It just makes it so much better. It brings out the best in each other. But that's
what we do. Okay, so we have what we call cheetahs, the attaboy. It's like cheetahs of tree. And sometimes it's dried up, and we crush it and grind it, and we make like chili powder, or we put it in our sauces or foods, boil it and stuff like that. Now that's really spicy. You can eat alone. My uncle made one. And it was just that kind of pepper, and I put it on my watermelon, and I started coughing like so hard. I was like, it's so good, but it hurt. And I kept going on with it, like going through the pain and crying.
Yeah, I once ate a bowl of, well, a bowl's an exaggeration. It was a ramekin, okay. I once ate a ramekin of jalapeno peppers to show off, and long story short, did not have a good time. So, but it did kind of, every time I've eaten jalapenos since, I've noticed they've been a lot less intense. So I guess it kind of numbed my taste buds to a certain extent, for better or for worse. But yeah, that was a night of suffering for sure. I don't think I ended up impressing anybody. I just embarrassed myself basically, so that backfired tragically. But it's okay. That was many years ago. I haven't seen any of those people for a long time. So. But anyway, so this is the part of the show where we do something wacky and really zany and whatever. So you got any pitches for that?
No, I don't.
You got any prank phone calls or some I don't know, something of that nature?
Really, just that.
Like, for explain, I've never done a podcast before, so you're my
Most people haven't. It's not a very common thing, but then again, I'm not a very common kind of person either, so I just like to cut right to the sandwich.
I'm not a very common, a comedic person, or I'm just very socially awkward sometimes. And within this whole podcast, there would be awkward pauses, because I don't want to overshare too much. But you're like, okay, the next topic.
Well, no, that's just my character on here of that adds to the humor in my opinion of that segues very well into our next topic, and it doesn't, and I just ask a question that has nothing to do with what you said. That doesn't mean that I think what you're saying is a dead-end conversation. That's not what it means at all. It's just, it's a style of humor adopted from, if you watch the Eric Andre show, for example, that's something you'll see on there quite a bit, is he'll just ask the guest a question, and then as soon as they open their mouth to answer, he'll just say something completely different or whatever, and and they'll never get back to it or something like that. It's it's a what's the word? It's like a running gag essentially in the world of comedy, you know. So yeah, no, it's nothing. Don't take it personally for sure. But what?
Okay, so I was wondering if you have like ADHD or something, or if that's too personal to ask.
Nothing's too personal to ask, really. I don't think so. I haven't. I mean, I never really got tested for it, so I wouldn't know. But I've never been. No doctors hinted at it. If you're wondering about like all the fidgeting and the hyperactivity or whatever, it's the podcast, and that's a common running theme. And B, I did have plenty of caffeine today, so I get like that sometimes. But
yeah, I understand that. For me, it's like I don't sway back and forth or side to side. I kind of like bounce in my seat just a little bit, or let my leg bounce. That's about it.
Yeah.
What runs in the family commonly is like any part of our body will be crossed, like our arms or legs or our fingers or hands. It's common and it runs in the family. And I hate that I do it sometimes. But
I'm also very good at making people think that I'm high on something at any given time. I can do that for just about anything, either uppers or downers, but I usually go with downers because there's usually more potential with that. Like I'll just pretend to be like spacing out and just like not, like I'll be at like Walgreens at 3 a.m. or something, and I'll just like slowly approach the cash register, and I'm just buying like a bunch of like candy and chips or whatever, and I'll just like slowly look up at them and just like the open mouth stare, just like pass the things to them or whatever, just like they'll crack a bad joke or something, and I'll just start slowly chuckling at it or something, and just like bag whatever, just fumble around with the change a little bit or so, like whatever, have fun. But every once in a while, like when I have caffeine or something, like when I can make it convincing, I'll pretend to be like on like cocaine or on meth or something like that. And especially, it works especially well if my hair is like really greasy and it's been like a week since I showered, because I do that sometimes. I go like a week without showering. And if it's been a while since I've had a haircut or showered, and I just like reek of body odor and stuff, I'm just like disgusting to be around already. And like that, it's a lot more convincing than you just be like, like faking like tweaking out and just whatever. I'll have like my eyes wide open and just like whatever. But yeah, I just find it kind of funny because like sometimes there'll be like cops around when I do that or something, and they'll just like eye me up suspiciously. But I know that I mean, I'm completely sober, all the time that I do that. So it's like, ironically, if I'm not, I'll act sober most of the time. So it's the other way around. But so it's like. It's like, yeah, they'll the cops will like have their suspicions, like, go ahead, go ahead, test me, I'm fine, whatever. And then I'll get to my car and they'll follow me from a distance, and I'll just be driving completely normally. Like, maybe next time, whatever. But
I'm a very deeply person under the influence, and I played Twitch before. I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know if that's good. Like Twitch, like my body, like just like little twitches, like your eye twitch.
Twitch, okay. I thought you meant like torch or something.
No, Twitch.
So what are we talking about? Uppers here? We're talking about like cocaine or like ecstasy or something, or?
No, we're talking about THC.
Louis lettuce.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm one of the many people who don't really get an addiction to anything that I do.
Really?
I'm very lucky. I've been doing it's like